I like it. The Amazing Anne. Maybe that should be my new
Well,
profile.
funny enough, one of my clients, who's also my accountant, Flo, she's known as the Fabulous Flo. Do like a bit of alliteration. So, for the ladies and gentlemen watching, if you haven't joined me before, I'm usually live every Monday, but this Monday I was doing some early training, so I didn't do it. But today I'm jumping on live with Anne because Anne and I have known each other. I was thinking about this today. I think it was about 7 or 8 years, Anne.
Easily, if not more.
And I was thinking, what would Michelle Walsh think if she saw? I must tag her in a post and say, who'd have thought all these years later when we met, when we were working with Michelle, that fast forward to today, what's happening today? So I'm going to hand over to Anne because we've got some really exciting news to share with you.
Well, in case you don't know me, I'm a coach, as in life coach, and I combine that with voice training or teaching, which I've been doing for about 30 years. And my particular audience or person that I work with really is a woman in business. Sorry to all of you who are not women in business. Women in business, professional women, leaders, because when I came back to working in my own business, having worked away for a while, I noticed that women get a bit of a raw deal. We're at the end of a lot of bias when we speak. And people have been telling me this now for years, especially the women that I work with. So, anyway, roll forward a few years since I started to do that work. That must go back about 8 years as well
Yeah,
now.
it must.
And I thought, you know what? I haven't done an in-person training day for absolutely ages. You know, COVID put an end to all of that, and we all got out of the habit. So I thought I'd really like to do one. And I thought it through, and it's all about closing what I call the capability gap. So, how we're perceived in our capability and in our expertise by either the way that we speak, or since I invited Karen, the way that we're also seen on social media, because that's another voice.
Yeah.
And when I had the idea of inviting Karen, I thought, yes, she'd be absolutely perfect because we rely on speaking and we also rely on our messaging and our visibility online. So that's why we're doing it together. And I think it fits really well.
Yeah, and I am well, I was delighted that you asked me, firstly. But secondly, you're absolutely right, because my word of the year is visibility. In fact, I was doing some LinkedIn training yesterday, and I said it was half men, half women, interestingly. It was a corporate event. And I said, this is all about your personal brand. And a lot of the people you work with, it is about their personal brand. We spend money on getting our branding on point. We craft our content. We make sure that we are raising awareness and interest of what we offer. But how do we then consolidate that when we start and verbalize our messaging? And that is to me, it's a natural thing. So do you want to tell everybody a little bit more about the event, when it is, who it's for?
Of course. Well, I think I already dropped in that it's for professional women.
Absolutely.
Business owners, if you're looking to run your own business, even if you're already employed somewhere in a business, or if you're in a leadership role, perfect for all of you, really. And it's going to be at the wonderful Deer Park, which is a venue in Staffordshire near Hoar Cross. So it's a little bit out in the country, but it's not too inaccessible, and it's easy enough to drive to.
Very accessible from the A50, isn't it? Because when I've been across there, I live near East Midlands Airport. It's about 35 to 40 minutes. Yeah. And it's dual carriageway most of the way. And then when you come off the dual carriageway, it's beautiful countryside.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It's about 25 minutes from me in Burton. Depending on which route you take, you can go by the country route or you can go round. And it's a farm which has got a building that's being converted. They have the most wonderful farm shop and a cafe and a lovely room to work in on the upper floor, and that's the one we've booked, their function room. So It fits about 22 people. So overall, our places will be limited to about 20 if you count myself and Karen as two of those people. And we're going to be releasing some tickets very soon on early bird, but there will only be 10 of those available. That's right, isn't it, Karen?
Yes, it's 10 early bird tickets. So we did release tickets to the wait list at the start of this week, and some of those have already gone. So the big thing, I suppose, that people want to understand is, so they're going to join us, that we're going to have very different sessions, but they're going to be aligned around, and the theme of the day is very much about finding your voice, growing your influence. And guess what? On the back of that, people are going to win more clients, because what you want is people are going to come away. It's going to be very much a hands-on doing day as well as teaching, isn't it? We want people to come along, work with us to develop their skills. So within my session, I'm thinking about, how we can really have that on-point brand presence, making your profile instantly communicate who you can help, and then understand what sort of content is actually going to connect with your audience, and being confident and overcoming that fear, that imposter that sits on your shoulder. In fact, these guys were saying yesterday, oh, I don't look stupid in front of people who are my competitors or my peers. And I think we all have that, don't we? So the whole day is going to be very interactive. It's on the 24th of September. And tell people a little bit about what you're going to be sharing.
I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent there with the tickets. I'm so excited about the whole thing, Karen, that, I've got
Me too.
Rolling around in my head. It runs from 10:30 until 4. That's important information for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And myself and Karen will be delivering 2 sessions each, very practical as well as useful. My sessions will revolve around the combination of your body, your what I call your mind balance, and your self-activation. I prefer mind balance to mindset because set is a bit fixed, and all will be revealed anyway. But it's about the whole person when we speak, not just about the technique of the voice. So that's where I'm going with that. And I'll guide you along a framework of that with various practical exercises so that you feel more grounded, more confident again, and more able to make an impact with your voice, because your voice is good enough. It's not about being like someone else. And a bit like Karen said, if we can get our idea across so that people perceive us in our capability, then the doors open to greater opportunities, and we can increase our success with clients, and we can increase our success in terms of promotions and things like that. So that's my part of bringing the value in.
And it's going to be I'm super excited, because actually recently I've had 2 meetings with brand new potential clients. They were on Teams. And I think, I've been running my own business for over a decade, 16 years now, quite scary, 16 years full time in my business. But, I've come from a sales background, so I'm very self-confident. I know how to present myself, but I know that there's things that you've worked when you've delivered sessions to my clients, that we just open our mouth and expect and assume what's going to come out is going to make sense to people. And that's where I think, people who are female leaders, female business owners, service providers need to have that, because getting an introduction or a referral to a company who may be interested in talking to you is the starting point. But then we need to be able to speak and be confident and authoritative, because if we're doing the work on social media that's going to attract interest, I mean, funny enough, I've had a bunch of people looking at my LinkedIn profile today because I did a post this morning tagging the company that I worked with, and some of their competitors have been looking at my profile. Now, best case scenario,
Love it.
They then say, actually, Karen, can you do what you did with them with us? But I know that I can show up and I can be confident, but it's what you're going to teach people is taking it to another level, isn't it?
It is. I mean, what we say, I keep talking about perceived, but what we say is perceived by people on an almost subliminal level. The
Yeah.
way that we say things, tiny differences in inflection or volume, or the tone of voice that we use. So just demonstrating one there. I love to do Joanna Lumley because she's a, and
I love you, Joanna Lumley.
I know I do too. I'm doing extreme examples, but how we are perceived when we speak. As soon as somebody opens their mouth, I guess you could tell how they are perhaps feeling if they're letting it leak through.
Mm.
And I've noticed this on the phone. When I listen to somebody on the phone, I can tell if they're really engaged in the conversation
Mm.
or if their face is doing something else.
Yes.
Because there are things that I can listen for, and everybody does that in a slightly different way. But the way that we say things and the way we put them across is so important. And it's not just about clarity, and it's certainly not about elocution. So don't worry. It's about Professor Higgins and your P's and Q's. It's about much more than that. It's about you, the person, your message.
And that's the big part of it, isn't it? Is, you know, I'm currently going through a brand refresh and getting some new photos done, and, you know, completely refreshing my website. And at the heart of all of that is my brand personality. And with what you will be teaching our lovely ladies will help endorse that. And what I'm going to then teach them is how to get their personality across online so they can see it. So I think, you know, what I'm really excited about the whole event. Sorry, I've said excited twice. That's terrible.
You said it at least twice as well.
At least twice.
We're very excitable all together, so forgive us.
People are going to leave with a real action plan, and they're going to get all of the access to us for the day for only £85. Absolute bargain. Now, there's only 10 places available on the early bird. A couple of those have already gone. So we're just hopping in here. If you've got any questions about this, we'll leave you to your lunch. But if you've got any questions about this, do get in touch, either message Anne or myself with any questions, and I will pop the link to secure your place under this live. And is there anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody that Karen brings incredible experience and value to this partnership as well. And I've worked with Karen a number of times on my social media strategy, and I know that she's fantastic at what she does. And if anyone can help you to become more visible and more confident about it, Karen's your person. So that's why I've asked her to do this with me. It's all about voice, either physical voice or your voice out there in the ether. Both are really important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for your kind words. And for those of you lurking and having your sandwiches while you're watching these middle-aged women rattle on, do get in touch with any questions. We'd love to see you there. I'm going to sign off, and we will hope to see you 24th of September. Take care.
See you then.